All right, give me a second to set this up, and we can initiate our wonderful Monday discussion. Very cool. So, I fully support people having the right to have a difference of opinion. Um, but I had a discussion with someone earlier today, and we were talking about how, in spite of having a difference of opinion, we would like for people to be able to have opinions that are based around fact, kind of allowing themselves to draw a conclusion based off of what we know to be reality. So when I used to speak to the lady lacking logic, I would often get annoyed because when you have a person who has admittedly, by her own words, her own admission, never been to the extent of just having to go out and approach a bunch of people to get a date, and they see someone who not only says something, you know, regardless of my words, provides proof of this continuous pattern of having to go out and make attempts and appeal to all these damn people, and you still say, "Well, I don't think it's as bad as you say it is." So yeah, that's a difference of opinion, but that's still a position that is not taking into account new information, and that contributed very largely to why I stopped speaking to that person. But they love to spin this little lie about, "Oh, he only stopped speaking to me because I wouldn't agree with him." No, I stopped speaking to you because it was the equivalent of banging my head against the wall or running on a hamster wheel. Just, and I said, it's really sad that you have individuals like that who, because they don't just go around with their own little incorrect position, they try to indoctrinate other people into it. Uh, this person will proceed to go around, try to make it appear that he's just that particular man had bad luck, and it wasn't the screwed up chicks that he was, bore the misfortune of having to live in the era of. Oh no, it was just him, and all this. And when I did the video this past week about relationships, which was the She's Out of Your League one, I was trying to make the point that there's a lot of stuff people say in reference to why they think someone's not in a relationship, but a lot of times it's just something someone says. You don't actually have proof that what they're claiming is actually the case. Um, I could get on here and say that, I don't know, some man in some video is ugly, but if I try to position that as being the reason for why no woman is showing interest in him, it is an opinion that I am deceptively trying to pass off as fact. Because it's fact that you can have members of a gender who don't find someone of the opposite sex attractive, meaning that any particular man or woman could have some group of people say that person is ugly, while they could also have some group of people say they're attractive. But see, these are the kinds of things that you're not going to hear from someone who goes around saying this person is ugly, because it's them refusing to admit the validity of the point that there are differences of opinion on this person's appearance that theoretically would yield a different result from whatever they themselves believe. So they pass their lie, and then we have to hope that the people are able to figure out what what exactly is true. Yeah, it's been a pretty aggravating, just the last couple of weeks. I mean, you're stuck in home. You have to deal with a lot of stupid stuff, or just see certain people more often than you usually would have to. And if it's people that you don't like, then it generally becomes a bigger issue. But really, this is the kind of topic that could be transitioned to pretty much anything else. I actually went to my inbox earlier and I looked and saw, oh, somebody new subscribed. And I remember when you first get on this website, people try to say, oh, some more subscribers is great. They try to push it off as being this really encouraging, wonderful thing. And then what happens? You start to see a number of them never watch anything, they don't comment on anything. And again, it goes back to that idea that people will say more subs automatically are a good thing, even though someone can actually just go and buy some or whatever. Uh, and then they won't do the basic functions of a sub. They won't watch, they don't click the like button, just nothing, just completely devoid of doing the things that come along with clicking the button that one would hope would come along with that person clicking the button. Because why else would you sub to someone that you don't intend to watch? So, that's another lie people tell. Oh, the subs, they matter. When you get more subs, it's going to be so great. And in my opinion, and just whatever, it's my opinion. After you hit 1,000, they basically just kind of become a number. Like you pretty much have no difference. And I guess the way I look at it is, I've seen channels where people have millions of subs and they don't get more than a couple, like tens of thousands of views per video. So when I see such low engagement from the same group of people who theoretically are engaged with the channel enough to click a button, I don't really believe that they're that big of a deal. Oh, great! Now I won't have to do my second consecutive stream of no one writing anything. Yeah, yesterday was really weird seeing just no one say anything, and then you had like 4 or 5 people in the chat, and then only after it gets uploaded do people want to comment. That was pretty crazy. That strange stuff. That's why I say I can't take YouTube seriously because it's just people are all over the place. This website is one of the most bipolar. Like I said, I'm doing the Wikipedia video this week where I just go through and explain why I hate that site so much. But a lot of the behaviors they have are pretty similar to the ones on here. Like you can do a stream one day and you'll have maybe 10 or 12 people watch. The next day you'll just have 2 or 3. Hell, you should be able to tell from that video I did on Bill Maher where it got almost 2,000 views out of the blue. That was really strange. It's just a very confusing, weird website. Oh, you have all these subs. Did they watch your stuff? No, but they're good because they make my number bigger. That's why I turned it off. I was embarrassed. There was actually someone who went on here and they were like, turn the subs back on and it'll increase your chances or some kind of crap. And I just said to them, well, I didn't respond directly, but my basic thought pattern was the majority of the time I was on this site, you literally could see the subs. And I pretty much got the exact same result from keeping them up as I did from taking them off. So I didn't really see a point in bringing them back. But again, even with the proof of having this feature enabled and it not actually doing much of anything at all, you still have people who go around peddling narratives. They'll say, "Oh, well, this had to have this sub count must be really important. Put it back up, please." Oh, then they get to the boogeyman algorithm, where they every time somebody doesn't get the views they want, they get to say, "Well, it's the algorithm." I get kind of annoyed by this because YouTube has a function to where you can look at all of the various videos of people you're sub to in a category, which was the subscriptions category. So if someone makes the effort to go and look up the videos that people that they like are making that they're sub to, the algorithm can go take a hike. Like I got 6 channels I try to watch regularly: Secular Talk, Door, sometimes TYT, Pacman, And there are times where I don't get notified that they put out a video, but I always make it a point each week, every 2 weeks to go to that person's channel. And look, I'm not saying that someone would have to do that for me, or that I expect people to do that for me, because I know we all have people we prefer to watch, people don't prefer to watch. But the idea that the algorithm forces you to not be able to see people that you actually want to see just isn't true. But again, it's another inconvenient truth. So you're going to see more people every time they don't see someone's video. It's the algorithm. It's the YouTube algorithm. If it wasn't in the way, I'd be able to see your videos every day. They really turned this function on this website into the boogeyman. It's just a word that they repeat over and over. And again, I get it because nobody wants to ever admit that sometimes stuff just doesn't work out. Because that's really the biggest issue. That's why the chick thing was so difficult for people to, I guess, wrap their heads around, especially if they haven't been through with it. You get told from the time you're a little kid, oh, if you just keep trying, uh, you'll eventually, you'll meet someone, like this thing of how hard work matters, or if you just put effort into something, it'll pay off. And when you see someone put up video every day, several videos a day, um, edit something for a couple of weeks or some days, whatever, and they can't scrape together 200 views or less, you want to believe there was something they did that was wrong. There actually was I've mentioned this before, there was a guy who stopped making videos. He just gave up on YouTube. He announced he was no longer going to put up any more videos. I think maybe at the start of this year, like right before the virus hit or sometime before that. And I looked at the comment section, and you got some person who's never made a single video, or at the very least not on their channel, and they write this big wall of text, and they're like, you should have done collabs, and you should have put your videos on other websites, and you could have done all of these things. And I'm just thinking to myself, if it's that damn easy, then why don't you do it? That's my favorite thing on here, where you got someone who gives advice and then they've never done it themselves. And look, I'm not saying people can't critique a person's, I guess, I don't even know what you would call it, their online strategy. But imagine me going to a doctor, someone that practices medicine. Oh, I don't think you performed this surgery correctly. It's like, well, you've never done it. I have. Can I at least get a little bit of trust in my abilities? Damn. And that's really the point, that all these people who don't experience these things are magically experts on them. And that's like one of the biggest contrasts I've had with some of my contemporaries, where, you know, if I'm hearing that somebody is menstruating, for example, I'm not going to go and say, well, maybe you should. I'm not giving advice on that because I've never experienced it. Oh, James decided to reappear at last. I've been waiting for him to show up for quite some time. I'm sure you're very satisfied with the 4 new episodes of the show that came out over like the last, I think that's like a month and a half. Yeah, 41 should be done probably maybe by the early days of next month, possibly. Because I'm trying to put together these other 2 videos I gotta edit. So I'm not gonna be able to do 41 that much for the foreseeable, like, next couple of days. Yeah, the only reason it took that long was because I was waiting for this goofy voice actor, who I ended up having to get rid of because they stopped responding. But even on something like that, oh well, if you had just waited longer. We're talking about what the title has, Envoy: Lies versus People. People have to determine whether they're going to keep believing lies. Like, I remember, this is something that happened. I couldn't see the title. Come on, you just clicked the video and there was no title. Give me a break. Cut me some slack. Yes, there's no title. You know what? I'm gonna look right now. I'm gonna see. There is a title. So you lied to me. I'm gonna ban you. You're no longer a mod, and you're no longer allowed on the channel. Goodbye. So Envoy's just been removed. Consider that a warning for anyone else that dares to oppose my commentary. I really do need to go buy an Infinity Gauntlet. Just stick that on my hand. Put it just like that, and every time somebody gets removed, I actually thought the VAs were actually putting in work. Well, James, the screwed up part is it's like half of them are really good. Like one of them actually did everything by October, for example, and another one did everything by like maybe November, December. So there's like half that if it was just them, I would never almost have to ever like wait an extended period for lines ever. But it's another like small group. Basically, it's the same people over and over who don't record or take a longer time than everybody else to do it. That's why when I did the VA video, I called it the Terrible Trio. It was the same three people over and over. The Snyder cut. Yeah, I heard about that. If I didn't like the original cut, I'm not going to like his cut. Hey, the Justin cut is to ignore that film from now on until the end of time. No, out of the Terrible Trio, the only one who's still acting up is, well, there's only one of them that's like really. It's basically it's just now this one person being ridiculous. Oh yeah, they love telling that lie. You're so inconsiderate. You're gonna drive people away because you're so ruthless toward the VAs. And I said, look, I am at my most sympathetic when it comes to dealing with people on this project because I understand when you're not getting paid for something, uh, and you have to factor it in with the various stressors of real life. It can be aggravating. It can be just really ridiculous. I fully get that. That's why with each of these people, it's been very seldom for me to not give them as much time as they request. Because the only stipulation I ever have is just keep in contact, just give some kind of updates here and there to at least give the sign of doing something. So when you have people who basically just kind of play a game of you're so inconsiderate, and I literally do nothing but be considerate toward these people, like that's a lie. I literally had one of them that I waited 3 months to do stuff for. Hey, I found out about your sister, Pink Pill. Yeah, that might be kind of annoying. Talking about Thanos. Let's see what else is here. Yeah, but I didn't know your sister was such a feminist. On her channel, she said, "To hell with men." Now the feminist one, Pink Pill is the strongest one because she was she on her channel. You can't criticize her, or else you're being sexist, which is a good defense. I agree. You can't criticize a woman for anything. Yeah. Well, I thought they were like the Power Rangers. You got the pink one, the yellow one, the blue one, the red one, the green one, the indigo one. The teal one. Told you, if it was up to me, I'd take all those pills, throw them in the trash. Oh, that's another one of those lies they have. You're part of one of those groups. I don't even say their names because I'm not trying to directly disparage any of them, but I said before that I have no affiliation with any of the people who, I guess, collaborate to talk negatively about the romance situation. Purple pill. Hey, that's the one where you eat it and then you start liking Prince. I already said I'm not on anyone's team. But even with making that distinction, I still have people who accuse me of being on these like with these groups, and it's really weird because they're on forums. They sit there and talk to each other, and I have nothing to do with any of them. Did they associate you with? Man, I don't even know what the pill was. They just assume like you can't criticize the situation with the broads or else you're part of a group. All right, give me a second. I'm about to close this thing. The brown pill. Oh, you mean the broad from X-Men? The ones that invade people's body? It's a sad day when you can't even have your own window open because you got someone outside going. But seriously, I never understood why I was getting called, like a part of that group or any of these romance groups when I would say, I am just me. I am just Justin. I just do some content about some chick stuff every now and again. I do mostly political stuff. I got the show, some Dragon Ball stuff here and there. But I'm not part of these groups. I'm part of my group, my team of me. But it was just weird. Like they must associate you with them. Like I've had members of these groups come over. Are you part of this team? No. For whatever reason, you're not allowed to not have an affiliation. They've literally turned these relationship groups into like the next political parties. Like remember, you can't go on here and mention anything political without getting accused of being a Democrat or Republican. You're going to now be accused of being uh, one of the pills or one of the groups or whatever. And it's so weird because I always say I'm not part of anyone's team. I'm just me. Like I don't talk to any of these guys. I let them do what they want. Pick a side. Well, I already said that I get the frustration against the chicks. I just don't want to be part of any groups because they do the same thing where it's guilt by association. So if I came out and said I'm part of this group, if some person that is crazy that's in that group decides to, I don't know, say something more radical than I think, for example, like women must date men no matter what, you know, and I don't agree with that, they're going to be like, oh, well, Justin was part of that group, so he must think the same thing. Like, no, I just, at this point, there's no point of getting frustrated, just going to drive yourself mad. Yeah, but it's like, this is what I was talking about when I said lies versus people. It's a lie that I'm part of of any of these groups. And then people believe it because they have to, like, I guess, make everyone interconnected and tied together. You can't be an individual. We have to be like the Borg from Star Trek, pill mafia. Yeah, that Wikipedia video is going to be really lovely. That script is 10 pages long, and I got to go grab all the screenshots off of there. I'm just happy that after I finish this, I'm never gonna have to look at any of that trash ever again. People are ridiculous on here. But look, I've seen the other, I guess, relationship content creators, and literally all they no, James, you remember how stupid that website was? Because I told you about how dumb it was before. They got even more ridiculous. But yeah, Envoy, the point I was making was I've seen the other romance commentators, and it's the same thing. Every single video they do is about chicks. I'm mad at this broad. This broad didn't open her legs. This broad works over here. Broad, 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 broad. And then with me, it's I do all kind of different stuff, and I still get lumped in. Ah, oh, thanks. I wrote a script for that. That's what I'm trying to do with the romance stuff now, where I'm going to be less on camera because I'm trying to have a script. I don't just want it to be me sitting in front of a in front of a paper. I personally believe that this, I'm good. Yeah, but my point is that if all of those other people are dedicated to this one topic and I go out and do a whole bunch of other stuff, it gets kind of weird that I would still be lumped in with them as if that's the one thing I do. Again, always says every once in a while it's cool talking about women, but it gets annoying after a while. It's funny how the people who say they don't care about the broads talk about them the most. Yeah, that's why I could never do a channel just about this topic because it's boring. Like at a certain point, I like to do other stuff. Variety's a spice of life, and every time I go on one of these forums, it's literally just chicks every day, all day long, just like this, just this repetitive loop. Chicks, 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 chicks. And I'm like, damn, can we talk about some movies or some shows or anything we're actually doing with our own lives? Damn, because they're lonely. Oh, it'll just be one of those lonely nights. Dustin is definitely not in one of those groups. If anything, he's more of a political channel. Well, remember, I was just a political person until I got kind of annoyed with this broad stuff, and I just decided to, I guess, reference it or talk about it. And then I got attacked for my appearance by supposedly straight men, because we all know that if you don't find someone attractive, nobody else does. I've never heard of, to each their own, or beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Oh, Mark, he finally reappeared. Also because they have nothing else to talk about. But I never could understand because even when I was trying to do more of the relationship stuff, I couldn't just say, to hell with my show, to hell with politics, to hell with I didn't do Dragon Ball stuff for a while, that is true. But like the other two things I was doing pretty regularly, even more so actually. Well, those guys were just letting you know they wouldn't date you, but you're a straight man. You're not supposed to want to date me. Like, think how gay it would look for as a man, to go to some other man's video and go, "Well, I personally don't think you're attractive." It's like you're not supposed to, dingbat. I would hope not if you're trying to say you're straight. Exactly, your lifestyle is more important than anything else. Yeah, like I just sometimes think about these people. Do they really just sit all day long, just, "Hey man, what's up? Oh, how you doing, man? This broad I saw walking down the street was so cute. I agree. Too bad she won't go on a date with me. To hell with her. Yeah, to hell with her. That's the full extent of the things they discuss. Because literally, I've had conversations with, I guess, other men that have been affected by this, and that's a topic that gets brought up for a little bit. We do the political stuff, shows that we both like. I mean, just there's so much other stuff, and it's like it's really weird to see this refusal to acknowledge the multi-layeredness of certain people. I realized a lot of the internet is men and women flexing, faking confidence. Hey, well, I don't try to pretend stuff that I don't have is what I have. Well, when they stop complaining about women, that's when they make the news for a mass shooting. Uh, I mean, most members of those groups do not actually go out and commit violence, so I'm not going to go with that. I just think it's kind of strange to want to talk about this every, like, just to be the only thing ever. There's nothing else to talk about. People act so differently on social media than real life, so you should take this place with a grain of salt. Oh, I know they have their little fake characteristics, but it still is kind of weird. Just it was a strange thing to see, behold, to see unfold rather. Fake personal, fake personas. I had my mouse in the way and it said person, or the S was obscured. Well, you can do anything on internet. Oh, well, that was the point I was trying to make. So I've seen these people who will go, "Aren't you worried that the way you speak about women will stop you from ever being able to find a partner because someone's going to take your content and show it to a woman, or a woman's going to see it and then she'll be reluctant to actually get with you?" And it was a broad who wrote this. And when I read it, I almost peed on myself because there was an old documentary from about maybe 60, 70 years ago, 60 years ago, by Mike Wallace, and it was called The Hate That Hate Produced. And it was about the Nation of Islam. Basically, just these people who, disenfranchisement with American society and how they became what they were. But the idea that you're going to say to this person who was already getting turned down before they made their content that the content now is supposedly going to have a negative effect when it was the negative effect that existed before the content that caused the content to get made is ludicrous. Like, this is literally the hate that hate produced. If I had not been treated the way I was over and over and over and over again by broads, I would have never spoken about it. But the fact that I was, without having any of this stuff made or exist, shows that it existing does not cause the problem. You can't take the aftermath of the issue and then attribute it to the issue. It doesn't work. Or at least it shouldn't, but you'll still have somebody who go, "This can have negative consequences." Hey, remember Black Pill when they tried to find out who Goku Black was, and then they found out that he was made by Zamasu meeting Goku and switching bodies with them. But the only reason Goku met Zamasu in the first place was to look for Goku Black's signature. So he made himself. Eventually, you got to talk about something that bothers you. Well, another lie is that apparently, if you just don't address things that are issues, then they'll become good. Give me a second. Hello? What's good in the hood? Are you gonna come over here? All right, well, call me back when you're, yeah. All right, well, I'm doing this thing. I'll call you later. Sorry, don't know if you did. Let me make sure I did. At this point, If Justin finds one, then it will be down to happenstance. Either it happens or it doesn't. The guy has tried. Yeah, I really do wish I knew the exact number of attempts I've made, like between the internet and on in real life, because it's got to be somewhere in the 70s or 80s. Like I don't want to say it's over 100 because I don't think it is, but it's definitely some lengthy number. Like I'll put it to you like this: it if I lived the number of years of times that I tried to speak to some broad, I will have outlived the usual lifespan for an American. Yeah, but black people, the difference is you actually need a job to afford things. There is no utility to be had by getting in a relationship with a chick. I even brought up how the dingbat with the baby had uh kind of impoverished the guy that she was with or made him more poor because he had to keep paying for her storage unit over and over and over again. While she was cursing him out and talking about how he was so stupid and she was so much more superior and sophisticated. But again, explain to me where that's an essential thing. How someone like that is something that you deserve after what talking to 80, 90 chicks. That's the best you can get, really. So I said with girlfriends like that, who needs whores? Envoy says, to be honest. Wait a second. To be honest? So were you lying then or are you lying now? Every time somebody writes to be honest, that I always just I repeat that line because it means they're they're either lying now or they were lying before. 2050 is like, oh, I won't even be alive that year. It's cool. Okay, let me read the rest of Envoy's comment. It's just got a bit more difficult for men and it's just gonna be BDT. It's going to be more difficult for men and women to form bonds in the future. I'm calling it now. The way the media controls the youth and people in general is eye opening. Yeah, but even, and this is my thing, right? Let's say they put out a movie showing that some broad, I don't know, got her boyfriend killed. I have enough wherewithal as a person with the brain to say, hey, that's not all the chicks. They don't all do that, whatever. Some of them do, but not all of them. And that would not stop me from reciprocating the interest of a broad that claim to like me. What I'm saying is, even with the media doing what they're doing, if the people act like they have some sense and show interest in getting with someone, then they can't do anything to it. They can't stop it. But it's got to take the two people that can form the relationship to make it happen. Yeah, you're not allowed to talk about things that get on your nerves on here, or else you're crying. Because people don't enjoy reality. They want to live in a fantasy world where all the problems in real life disappear when you log onto this website. And I said, look, it's cool if someone doesn't agree with, I guess, the position of making your life an open book. And there's still stuff I try to keep private to me. Um, but I don't. The thing is, I don't feel ashamed of really anything. Just at least certainly over the last maybe 4, 5, 6 years, really anything I've done. Like, oh, you're not employed, yeah, but that's in in response, or rather that's after seeking out employment at what was like 90 plus places. Oh, you're not with the woman, yeah, but that's after talking to what 70, 80 plus chicks. Like, I can't look at my role in that stuff and then the fact that I don't have it and then go, well, I guess I'm not good enough for these things. Oh well. Sometimes you got to wonder if life would be easier if men were asexual. Well, that guy lost a lot of money just to get screwed. So you got to ask yourself if it was worth it. If getting to bang some, in my opinion, slightly below average broad was worth losing thousands of dollars. Oh my god. He does have he was stupid for doing that, but he does have my sympathy. Just because I understand the struggle. I get where if you get starved year after year with no female attention, and some broad basically offers herself to you sexually to do some favor for her where you would want to. But a lot of people don't think about the long term ramifications of that. It's like you took a like, and that's why I don't like a lot of these chicks because there's no consideration for the supposed people they care about. You took a guy who already was poor and screwed up his one source of revenue, made it even smaller because he was giving to your little stupid non-essential crap. And then you get surprised when you and him can't afford this kid that you just decide to pop out a few years later. God, it's just buffoon after buffoon. And I remember I was actually talking to this one broad. This is one of the broads I tried to like do the family crap with. This broad got on my nerves because she agreed to do it and then she changed her mind a couple of days later after arguing with, I guess it was her parents or whatever. Um, and I remember I was telling her, if you and I are never able to, let's say, reproduce in a marriage environment and contribute to the number of people who don't get married but have kids uh, getting smaller, how can we expect it to get better? Basically, if we don't do it ourselves, how can we expect this to improve? And her claim was, oh, it'll get better, or in her little stupid voice, it'll get better. And I remember just thinking to myself, some of us are going to live to be 100 years old, and people are still going to be doing the same stupid stuff. Oh, does anybody remember Tyshawn Lee? No? Okay. Well, that was a 9-year-old little boy that was shot when I think I was in I was in 12th grade when that happened. And the reason he was shot and murdered by these gangbangers is because his father was also a gangbanger. It was retaliation. And these people, the sympathetic people that they were, gave the mother money on a GoFundMe to bury the little boy. And then we found out that she bought a car with the money to bury him. So these hoes are so evil. But that goes to that thing about how, the selfishness that people have and this, spiteful and whatnot. But see, the lie was, oh, well, she needs help because she's in a poor environment. And then the reality was she wants to take advantage of people who mean well to get some frivolous thing that will not help her. Like, why do you need some glamorous car? How does that make someone's life better? But again, lies versus people. Oh, she needs your help. And then people realize after she gypped them for something stupid, no, she didn't. You have to stun on people. It's just like when I was talking about how, and I'm going to do a separate video on this probably, but I had explained to the lady versus the lady lacking logic the reasons why I didn't finish college, and it all can just be chalked up to I couldn't afford it. I didn't have 12,000 to just pull out of my behind and give to some school. But I explained to her that I sat here and I spoke to the various relatives that I have repeatedly, and they declined to pay for it. They said nope, and that was it. But this was after I had multiple conversations with people who I knew had the funds. No, she didn't take the car back. So she claimed, the lady lacking logic, oh, surely there was something you can do. Hey, well, Envoy, at least if there's any consolation, at least I'm not in debt. And I'm not saying that to brag. That's the only little thing I can hold on to. At least I don't have an anchor over my head. But she tried to say, well, there must have been something you could do. There could have been something you could say. And mind you, she's saying this to me after she knows for fact that I spoke to these people repeatedly, made my case, my plea, all of that, and they kept saying no. So I guess I'm just supposed to harass people until they, I don't know, acquiesce to my petulance. But the reason that this was such a, because she didn't understand why this bothered me so much to where I almost stopped speaking to her. 2 months prior to this is when I found out that the dingbat with the baby got knocked up. And I told her about this. And remember, she's never met this person, knows nothing about them other than what she's been told. And she starts doing a little speculative game. Oh, maybe she has trauma in her background, and maybe she's had a hard life, and I'm just thinking to myself, you have all of this empathy for a clown that woefully spread her legs like the Sunday paper, but no empathy for a man that got price gouged out of continuing their education. Do you see the imbalance here? You have all this empathy for someone that chose to make their life worse by letting an unprotected salami go inside, but then the man that was going to school and couldn't proceed because he didn't have this inordinate amount of money to give to the school. Just like, oh well, you could have done something. Like she could have done something. She could have got the guy to wear a condom. She could have abstained from screwing. But it's like, like the fact that she couldn't see how those two things correlate, how they show how instantly a broad will just give another broad a pass and condemn someone else. Like that's why I just hate talking to these people. They have no kind of recognition of when they're out of line for something they said. You have sympathy not for the man that did the right thing of going to school but couldn't afford it because he wasn't rich. No, you got empathy for the broad that chose to make her life worse. She wasn't raped. She willfully spread her, and you got empathy for that person. Let me read Envoy's comment. Oh yeah, student debt is ridiculous. You hear stories of people paying that off in their 40s. So let's get this straight. Up to 4 years of college to take 20 years to pay it off. Well, that's my point. If I'm literally going to spend the next half of my life paying that off. If I had gone through with that, which I didn't. And it's like all these people tell you that your life is ruined because you didn't get a degree, but I don't understand how I'd be better off with a piece of paper that I don't have a guarantee is going to secure me a position, but that I know for sure is definitely going to secure me debt. I just don't get how that's any better. But again, people just say stuff. They don't care about reality. They don't care about the nuances of information, just whatever. Okay, but this is my point that even if you get which I want to be a political science major, even if I get the degree, there is not a guarantee that the position I get, and there's not even a guarantee I even get a position. When you think about it, is going to be able to pay that stuff off anytime soon. I understand why they love the school system. Honestly, you don't need to no guarantees. Well, that's my point, Envoy. It's just more black and white BS. It's just another stupid thing people say to feel better about someone getting screwed over for doing the right thing. It's like, oh, you work this job, but you can't afford your rent. So because I don't have a piece of paper, I deserve to be homeless. Like what? But that's what I was saying. It's more lies. Of course, the chick doesn't have to care about getting a degree because they can get some guy to take care of them forever. By using their little bodies or whatever for those types of purposes. There are people who are earning a good living doing trade, truck drivers, electricians, men with plumbing businesses and builders. Of course, it all depends. Yeah, but to mention stuff like that, you have to look into the nuances of wages and what positions pay people certain amounts, and they're just not willing to do that, and that's why I have such a issue with a lot of my contemporaries because if you don't agree with someone's lifestyle, that's cool, but you don't need to try and I guess red scare them, and that's what I've been calling it. Like they're doing a red scare with this school situation. These are people who are all full. Think how evil this is. These are all people who are fully aware of the heightened cost of education, and they are going around trying to trick, I guess, the coming up generation or people who are younger, whatever, into thinking that unless you get this anchor on your leg and do whatever it takes to get this piece of paper, you might as well just give up on life. Does anybody not see how dangerous that is? You are advocating for these people to literally have their lives ruined uh, just for a piece of paper. And look, again, because I believe in nuances. Take my brother for example. He is not legal yet, but whenever he gets out of high school, and presumably I think it's fair to say richer at that in that period, and I can afford to send him to a school. And he wants to go there, I'd be willing to assist. But as far as like me telling him, if you don't go to college, your life is over. Time to pick up trash. I'm not doing that because I know that's not true. So I said it's a bunch of people who just want to believe something so they can feel better about themselves. Ooh, look at me! I have a degree, so I am going to live prosperously forever. Because we all know there's no one who's had a degree that's been homeless. That never happens. This piece of paper is just an insta fix that solves all of the world's problems. I even had people who were trying to tie it into the relationship stuff. I don't know what James is laughing at. Like, I'm not saying it to be to like point you out, but whatever it was, you can say. 'Cause I've been saying a lot of stuff. But I even had someone who actually said, "Well, if you go to a school, sometimes you meet people who are interested in you back." And when I heard that trash, I just thought to myself, because I mentioned my best friend is in school, and he literally has the exact same lack of attention from the broads as me while attending a school. So it doesn't matter. It's not as important as people think. It's not a factor. It's just something people say to feel better about garbage. So I said it's lies versus people. They're trying to trick you into stuff that we know is wrong, or at the very least, heavily inaccurate. My deep dive. God, I'm so sick of people. A lot of times, just the stuff they do and say. It sucks because I really believe that, like, when I friend this is a mistake I made. Was there a lot of political biases at your college? I only remember two teachers and both ever like saying anything about politics, and they were political. And I would say no because if only two of them out of what was that, like 20, 30 people uh, had biases, I would say that's largely not bias. Like I don't think it's the school's fault that two of the teachers expressed their opinion personally. And like I said, you got like I really wish people would stop pretending that I guess millennials or younger people are just these complete buffoons. If you just say something to enough days out of a year, they automatically believe it. Because one of the professors I had, I told him to his face, I don't agree with you that this one particular thing. I'm not even going to mention what it was, but there was some. He was claiming that some group of people were under attack, and I said that's not true, or I didn't believe that was true. Like if they act like older people can't get influenced by others, it's weird. Yeah, James, it will magically get better. There will just be this insta fix. The ladder of upward mobility has a lot of gaps in it. I did get more love in college though. Two Asian chicks gave me a lap dance and I had a GF. Uh, I mean, I'm not. See, that's why I was saying that. Like, this isn't me saying that it could. This a college could not theoretically introduce you to other people, and I'm simply stating that it has been proven to not guarantee that someone is going to get in the damn relationship. And I wish people would stop pretending like you just go over here. You'll be a woman. It's like when people would say, "Oh, if you travel, you'll meet someone." It's like, idiot. If you meet some broad in a couple of days of being in some country, she's literally just going to use you to try and get a free visa to back to the U.S. You're basically getting a mail order bride. You should get married tomorrow. What a love story. Yeah, that's all they love to do is just spread propaganda. If you just cut your hair, women will start coming from the air. If you just wear a different shirt, women's legs in between will start to squirt. If you don't wear glasses, women will bend over and show you their. Oh, I can't say that word. Never mind. If you go to school, women will think you're cool. Like they love to just make it. Oh, what's another one? If you have a degree, a bunch of jobs will accept you. You'll see. It's like, no, you don't. Hey, whatever you can feel whatever you want on for. I don't buy the clothes thing anymore. I'm not about to sit here and buy an outfit on the off chance that some clown is going to go, "Ooh, he looks so nice." What? So then when I take it off, you're not attracted to me anymore? Stupid. It was dumb. Mm. I said I'm good. Tired of playing this game. If I wear a suit, yeah. The hell? That's really weird. They just jump off at the same time. It was like it was 10 and it was 7. I guess that's cool. People just can, they vanish. That's how we streamers have it, where you get all excited, like, oh my god, I got this good number, and then so many marketing gimmicks. Ever notice how the advice getting women ties into wasting cash? Well, that's why I told the story of the guy that paid for the storage unit, because literally all he did was have his resources get drained by this broad. While he was being, if you want to say anybody's abusive, he was being verbally abused. Opting out of the game for the foreseeable future is the way to go at this point. Yeah, but I'm really sick of these lies that are being told on these websites. They're just, and it's like, you know, um, there's a senator. I'm gonna do a video about it. There is a senator who has a voting record that is not consistently aligned with their party, and you have people who are making videos going, they're getting what they deserve for being just a shill for their party. And I'm like, well, wait a second. If they vote the least of anyone of their party with the White House or whatever, with whoever's in charge, that's literal proof that they're not what you say they are. And you guys just keep repeating this lie. Again, I'll think about doing a video on it. I'm really kind of disgusted by it because like you literally have proof that's not true, and they're just like, whatever, doesn't matter. We all know a lot of women love the resources, been like that since the dawn of society. You need a bunch of cows and goats when hundreds of years ago ain't nothing changed. Well, yeah, but you remember the biggest lie is the fact that they claim you need to have resources to get with a woman and you don't. Because I just mentioned, like, how do people in poor neighborhoods have get together? Like, they really try to pretend that you're just having these, I guess, millionaires and billionaires drive a Lamborghini into some bad neighborhood and they meet some broad and she comes out of the I don't know crappy house that she's in and they're like, yeah, let's get it on. Yeah, because they like to pretend. Or Kevin's been vanishing for a long time. I made the best out of Walmart brand clothes. Yeah, the clothes don't matter. They're just it's just another stupid litmus test. And then it's like, okay, you don't like my shirt. Does that mean every single other person won't like it? If it was so universally despised, nobody would be wearing it. That's what I was saying about how it's so like people are weird. They have to find a reason to just justify everything. And like they're not even making positions that make sense. They just go, oh well, I personally don't like this, so nobody can like it. I didn't realize people are like the stuff on Wikipedia. I'm gonna when I do it tomorrow, the video. Uh, it's literally like the stuff in real life. Just like it's crazy how much that website reminds me of just being in high school and like reading the stuff people write on there to each other is similar to the stuff people write on here. That is insane. I just realized I had an epiphany. I stray away from materialistic egomaniac. It's funny to listen to a person swear that tried to pretend that someone else swearing was such a big deal. I said people are just hypocrites. They try to make it. They make things that are not that big a deal matter. God, let's all just keep lying and saying screw reality. To hell with what we can actually prove as being true. Doesn't matter. Mm. Oh yeah, that's another one of my favorite things. The people that say something doesn't matter and then they'll literally be like on a video, leaving like writing paragraphs. And I said, like, just treat things that don't matter like they don't matter. I don't talk about sports because to me they don't matter. That's why you haven't seen me a single video by me on basketball or football or baseball because like I don't care. I don't care. People are just big hypocrites. Don't swear, and then I'm gonna use the F word and the A word and the S word and all the other words. Just combine them, fuse them all together. They love using all these words. God, right? And then what's even crazier is that the same people who will oppose a swear word will literally say the exact same one because I know there are words that are less offensive, but they still use the same ones at some point or another. You said the F word. That's so bad. 3 days later, they say the F word, but it's not bad because they're saying it. So I said just a bunch of hypocrites. Yeah. I mean, there's only one word that means, so you can if you don't know what it is, on void and just type it in on Google. Swearing is ingrained in my speech. It's hard to turn off. Well, yeah, that's my point that they try to pretend as if you're supposed to go, okay, well, I guess I can't use bad words anymore. This one person doesn't like it, so let me just say screw it. No, not the that one, the other one, with the U after it. Yeah, if you don't know at this point, whatever. Not even worth bothering to try and explain any further. Yeah, that word that Kevin said with an F in front of it and the D removed. He's still gonna say, I don't know what that word is. I don't know what this word is. People just they love playing this game. Keep lying and trying to make it seem as if whatever you say is the most important thing in the world. And I don't do that. Like even though I condemn, like I don't like reaction channels, right? I don't find them very interesting. I think they just take people's stuff and go. But I would never say if you do things like this, you're not going to make it on YouTube because I don't. People have bigger channels than me, and they all they do is so it clearly doesn't actually mean that it's you know going to stop them from getting bigger. But see, I don't try to tell lies about things that I know aren't true. I agree, James. I don't get the appeal of them at all, but they still will have thousands of subs. So clearly, it's not this thing that's just universally despised, unless everybody is a sadist and wants to see videos that they don't like. People love to pretend that like their position is that of everybody else. Like that one broad that came on here talking about uh, Bernie would hate you and Paul Wellstone would despise you. But it's like, but you don't know Sanders or Wellstone, so what are you talking about? I could make one right now under 15 minutes. Yeah, just take this stream and go, and then you get more views than the stream itself. Yeah, but yeah, I don't say it ever. It's a stupid racial slur that a bunch of people decided to try and, in my opinion, failed to make it a word that wasn't offensive. And you know it's still offensive because when they say it in a certain way, when they get angry, they take it as an insult. Look what happened when Bill Maher said it. You wouldn't get that mad if he just used a regular swear word. She's a clown. That's what I think. I'd rather vote for my dog for any office that she ran for. Yeah, wait, James, if you don't know who that is, don't bother asking who. Consider yourself lucky. No, I moved toward I don't care, but I still think it's stupid that they use it. Like I said, I try to stay out of stuff with blacks in particular because you get insulted anytime you don't agree with what the majority of them agree because it's the hive mind. But I've never seen another ethnic group use a slur intended to insult them and try to make it seem like it's normal or regular or good. But like I said, if you ever just point that out, you get attacked. Why we? Nah, I speak for myself. I don't use it at all. I use it because everybody else is using it. Hey, not me. I just find it funny that she's talking about politics. Yeah, it's just a goofy broad that unfortunately a lot of people pay attention to. I was just thinking to myself, Sanders won't do a live stream with me because I'm unknown, but he'll do a live stream with the Edward Scissorhands baby mom, whatever. To hell with it. Won't talk to the people who studied politics, but we'll talk to some individual just because she's famous. And then people will tell you that hard work matters. And I can already picture, you should have had more subs and then Bernie would have spoken to you. Whatever. It's like they pretend as if subs actually matter. How many subs these random journalists no one's ever heard of have and they still get an interview? Some people take her seriously. Well, I don't, so yeah, I don't understand the appeal of using that word that much. And they're like, "Oh, but it's in music." Well, then just don't say it. Like you have to every song you hear, you have to repeat all the lyrics of, really? You're not just listen to something. Over 20,000 subs, it makes people look cool. Envoy says they don't know anything about their district or their mayor or local politics, but they damn sure know about Cardi B and her opinions on politics. Yeah, a lot of people don't even know their own governor or their senators. And not the state senators, the US senators. So for each state, there's two of them. Like that's literally just three people to remember, and you don't even know who they are. And I'm like, I get if someone doesn't like. I've tried to be reasonable. Like I couldn't name all of the representatives of California, right? But that's because there's 53 of them. Like there's more of them than there are presidents. So I'm not going to make people what's a good word for it? Hold them to a standard higher than what I hold for myself because it's not right. But I do think everyone should know their senators, their governor, and their congressperson, which I do know because that's just four people in each state. But then again, I think it's good that because maybe people who follow her were getting the no, I don't think so. Because you know how hive mind works. If she doesn't like this particular thing, then we don't like it. So that's wishful thinking, but you don't know the full extent of how crazy these people are, where they just don't. Everyone just wants to go along with whatever they think is popular. Anyways, let me give you a couple of sneak peeks for the video tomorrow. Um, I've been on that website for years. I had a person who I realized after a while was stalking me, and I got proof that that was the case. I had another person who got mad at one of my edits, so they spent an entire week writing paragraphs to me, and it was really creepy. And it's actually the reason I got off of there permanent, like semi-permanently, or for a long time, several months. Uh, what else I want to add? Because I want to give away the whole thing, but it's just some of the stuff to go over. So I'll. If there's anything else anyone wants to say, let me know. If not, speak. You can hold your peace until Saturday or maybe Thursday. I don't know if I'm going to do a stream on Thursday. I might. Yeah. I just hate the characterization of my stuff as people. What's a good word for it? Uh, Justin versus women or any of that trash. It's lies versus people. It is with anything I've edited. I always show proof, and you have these individuals who try to pretend that it's just my opinion that someone acts the way that they do. But thanks for showing up. Mark said I'm articulate as always. I almost want to blush. But yeah, thanks for appearing. I appreciate it. And I'll be uploading stuff for the remainder of the week. No, it's lies versus people. So thank you. Have a good day.